Hi guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel, one and only pharmacy. So guys, in this video we see detailed notes and explanation about suspension chapter, subject pharmaceutics second, D pharmacy second year, presented by one and only pharmacy YouTube channel. So friends, I request to all, please watch this video till the end. Let's start. Or if possible, then you write the detail some notes in your notebook. Let's see contents or which topics we are cover under this today's video. These are following: definition of suspension, ideal properties of suspension, formulation of suspension, types of suspension, and classification of suspension. These topics or contents we cover in today's video. Short in India, very short. What is suspension? Definition of suspension: it is a biphasic dosage form. It is a biphasic dosage form comprising a dispersion of solid fine particles in a suitable solvent in which these are insoluble. It is a biphasic dosage form comprising a dispersion of solid fine particle in a suitable solvent in which these are insoluble. These are the definition of suspension. Second, ideal properties of suspension. Which ideal properties suspension should must have? These are follows. First, it should have uniform particle size. Suspension have uniform particle size. The viscosity of suspension should be such that it should be easily pourable. The viscosity of suspension should be such that it should be easily pourable. Third, it should be physically and chemically stable during its shelf life. It should be physically and chemically stable during its shelf life. Fourth, it should not form a cake upon settling the particles. It should not form a cake upon settling of particles. Fifth, the sediment produced on standing shall be easily redispersible upon shaking. It should have good flavor and color and should be palatable. It should not cause GIT irritation. These are the some ideal properties of suspension. In exam, ask the question like that. Define suspension and give its ideal properties in 2 marks. Next points: formulation, additives or excipients used in suspension. Following additives we use in for preparing a suspension: first, flocculating agent; second, suspending agent; third, wetting agent; fourth, dispersants; fifth, preservative; sixth, organoleptic additives. In organoleptic, there are also subtypes like that: coloring agents, flavoring agent, and sweetening agent. These are all the formulating agents. That means formulation or additives used in suspension. Let's see one by one in detail. What is flocculating agents? These are the agents which produce flocculation. These are the agents which produce flocculation. Example: electrolytes, polymers, and surfactants are the examples of flocculating agent. Second, suspending agents. The additives which increase the viscosity of continuous phase are known as suspending agent. The additives which increase the viscosity of continuous phase are known as suspending agent. They reduce the rate of sedimentation of particles. Suspending agent may also affect pourability, spreadability, flow property of the final product. For example, methyl cellulose, gelatin, acacia, tragacanth are the suspending agents. Third, wetting agents. These reduce the interfacial tension between the solid particles and dispersion medium, that is solvent, and make poor wetting of solids. These are necessary when poorly wettable solids are present. These agents also produce flocculation. For example, sulfur, hydrocortisone, soap, benzalkonium chloride, etc. are the example of wetting agents. Fourth, dispersants. These are necessary in a deflocculated type of suspension. There are we know there are two types of suspension. First, flocculated, or second, deflocculated. In deflocculated, there are used dispersants. Dispersants prevent aggregation of particles and thus make individual particle in a dispersed state. Example: Darwins and Dexarts are the examples of dispersants. Fifth, preservative. Preservative should must add in the preparation of suspension. Preservative is necessary to prevent microbial growth in suspension. Example of preservative is esters of para-hydroxybenzoic acid. Second, sixth or last suspending agents is organoleptic additives. Orally used suspension require organoleptic additives like coloring agent for attractiveness and elegance. Example caramel. Second, flavoring agent for good smell and pleasantness. Example peppermint. Third, sweetening agent for palatability. Example syrups. Types of EML suspension, there are two types. I say before 1 minute: flocculated suspension and deflocculated suspension. First, in this case, particles form a network which looks like a scaffold like structure. In this case, particles form a network which looks like a scaffold like structure. In deflocculated, in this in this case, each particle present as a separate entity. In flocculated second type, sediment is easily redispersible upon shaking. In deflocculated, sediment is difficult for redispersion. In flocculated, chances of cake formation are less. In deflocculated, chances of cake formation are more. In fourth point, flocculated suspension, structural vehicle is necessary to suspend the floccules. In last, in fourth point, in deflocculated suspension, structural vehicle is not necessary. These are the very important points in per point of view of exam. Difference between our types of suspension, that is flocculated suspension or deflocculated suspension. Next, classification of suspension. Let's see one by one. Suspension for oral administration, milk of magnesia IP. Second, suspension for external use, calamine lotion BP, that is British Pharmacopoeia, or IP means Indian Pharmacopoeia. Third, suspension for parenteral administration, insulin zinc suspension IP, protamine zinc insulin injection IP, etc. Thank you guys for watching this video till the end. And friends, in this video we see what we learned for classification of suspension. There are three classes: oral administration, parenteral, or before, or for external. Types of suspension, there are two types of, or difference between flocculated and deflocculated suspension. Additives used in suspension, these are organoleptic, or why organoleptic additives generally used in oral administration type of suspension. Preservatives for preventing microbial growth. Dispersant generally used in deflocculated type of wetting agents. Suspending agents and flocculating agents. For these are the formulative agents. Ideal properties of suspension or definition of suspension: it is a biphasic dosage form comprising a dispersion of solid fine particles in a suitable solvent in which these are insoluble. So friends, I want to share some important questions about the chapter for annual type of exams. First question: define suspension and give ideal properties of suspension. Next question: give or enlist the additives used in suspension, or enlist the suspending agent used in suspension. In detail, not asking, give detail. Second question: give the difference between flocculated suspension and deflocculated suspension for 2 marks. Or third, classification of suspension. These are the important some questions about this chapter. So friends, thank you for watching this video. Friends, if for pharmacy students or generally the diploma in pharmacy, so please subscribe to our YouTube channel for pharmacy related videos. I specifically uploaded pharmacy related videos. Thank you guys.